Scheele's green was a poisonous pigment that was created in the late 18th century. It was quite innovative for its time. It was cheap to produce, it was highly consumable, and it was potentially deadly. Innovations today that we have that share a similar story are mobile phones, makeup, and fast food. We'll explore the story of Scheele's green from the point of view of three facets of the human condition. Number one is our drive to be curious and creative and to innovate. Number two is how innovations are fueled by profit. And number three is how those innovations and profit are sustained by our consumerism. So let's roll the clock back around 200 years or so to the year 1775 when this story began. Welcome to this episode of Evolution Stuff. Our story begins with the drive to be curious, which leads to creativity and innovation. This drive has played a crucial part in the transition from hunter-gatherer to farmer and now to making machine intelligence. Each discovery, rooted in curiosity, changes the way we see the world and how we interact with it and live in it. In 1775, the Swedish chemist Carl Wilhelm Scheele created a brilliant new pigment which he then called Scheele's green. It's essentially copper arsenite, and the chemical formula for this is... He was a brilliant chemist. He also discovered chlorine. The green that he created was vivid and bright, and it was a really welcome garden green colour in this world that was becoming increasingly grey from smoke and soot of the industrialization period. There was, however, evidence to suggest that he knew this pigment was poisonous. However, it still went to market. The next human facet to look at is the drive for profit. This stems from our need to collect and hoard resources for security and stability. Also, to be at the top of the social ladder, because here affords better opportunities for survival. It also relates to a building of tolerance within our systems, that what we have now, the profit that we're getting, is not enough. We need more and get to the next level, next level, next level. And all of these things lead to the activation of the reward circuit in the brain. So the pleasure centers with the nucleus accumbens, they start firing. Tolerance builds up with the brain releasing things like dynorphin to bring the brain back down to homeostasis. The VTA releasing dopamine, which creates a learning opportunity for us to learn cues, to understand how we can get more of the pleasure that we seek. Our profits are not high enough. We need more sales, we need more customers, and we need more money. Funny enough, capitalism actually works quite well for us because it actually mirrors how we behave. We have built capitalism in our own image. It requires accumulation, ambition, and climbing of the social ladder. It's a system that is built on primal behavior, not morality. That primal behavior allowed us to survive very well in small tribes, but today, that behavior is amplified on a global scale. The tolerance that we build for excess, the consumption, addictive habits that we get into, all feeds capitalism. The toxicity of arsenic was actually discovered around 1815. But this was not before a new version of Scheele's green came out, known as emerald green. This version of the pigment was better than Scheele's green because it didn't degrade in colour as quickly. The pigment was still cheap to produce and it was highly profitable. And by 1863, it was estimated that 500 tons of these pigments were being produced annually. It ended up in everything from wallpaper to clothing, even food and sweets, candles and artificial flowers. Beauty and death hand in hand. The final facet we're looking at in this video is consumerism. And funny enough, it's actually based on a lot of the same principles as profit. So to hoard, to consume things in order to show your social status in society, activating that same disastrous cycle of addiction, and not to mention the cultural and social expectations of the society in which you are in at that moment, of what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing, what is expected of you. By the mid-1800s, doctors were finally connecting these mysterious illnesses with this poisonous pigment. There was even a medical journal that actually stated that a 6-inch sample of this wallpaper contained enough arsenic to kill 2 people. But it was fashionable, it was everywhere, it was a beautiful garden colour that was a welcome sight in grey. Coming back to today, we haven't really changed much. Even though we know something is bad for us, we still go and consume it. Our primal automatic behaviours, they override logic. We will still go for the chemically produced terrible food, even though we know it's full of chemicals and it's fast food and it's bad for us. We will still sit incessantly on our devices and scroll and we're so addicted to our screens, but we know it's not good for us. These automatic behaviours override our prefrontal, intelligent decision-making capabilities. Marketing, beauty, and social proof override logic. Eventually, science and the law caught up with these pigments, and arsenic-based pigments were banned. So artists and designers, they turned to safer alternatives. Scheele's green is more than just a story about the colour green, a pigment of green. It's a story about what it means to be human, our drive to innovate and then build and then destroy. The paradox of being human. If you enjoyed this exploration of colour, history, and the human condition, please like, subscribe, support the channel, and together, let's continue to explore the beauties and the atrocities of what it means to be human.